Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and I am doing a special presentation of the wrenched map. A lot of guys here wanted to see the inner workings of the clock, so I decided to get online with Tahg, who did most of the work getting the clock working, and we're going to go over this a little bit. How's it going, Tahg?
Not too bad.
Cool. So you guys can see me just flying through the wrenched map here as it loads around me, and we've got the big huge clock right here, and you basically like opened up the back for us so that we can see all the inner workings, and boy does that look complicated. Oh my. So in just a minute we'll be right back to start explaining the way Todd got the clock working. So if you guys are interested in seeing it, this is the video for you. If you're not at all interested, then I'll catch you in the next video. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, so we're here with Tahg. Like I said, he did most of the work on the clock for her here. It's a pretty solid setup, as you guys saw. It basically counts down from 30, and it'll use the white blocks around the border there for the second hand, and the middle blocks in there count the minutes, but then when you get to the last minute, they all count down to seconds. And we've also got a little control mechanism here, start, stop, and reset, and the reset button will reset the clock to the 30 minutes, and then the start button will start it, just like that, and start ticking down. And the stop button will stop it, and the reset button will reset it again back to the 30-minute mark, or you can hit start again to pick up where you left off. Is that the basic gist, Tahg?
Yep, it's pretty much it from a user point.
Cool. Alright, and this wraps up. No, I'm just kidding. So let's go into the back and check out the inner workings of the clock. All right. So do you want to explain the wiring first or the computer program?
Let's start with the computer program.
Okay. All right, guys. So here we are. Tahg is listing out a lot of the programming code. So give us I guess, a brief overview, Tahg, of what each type of command basically does.
All right. I start by declaring some variables, tits and tots or seconds and minutes.
Okay.
And the interval is kind of a fudge factor for synchronizing to actual time.
Okay. So basically you set it up as 19 ticks becomes 1 second. And the reason for that is typically it's 20 ticks as a second, but just server lag and that kind of thing plays a role.
Yeah, and I think I may have a tick worth of whatever in here somewhere. So
cool.
And then following that, I've basically numbers that represent the bits of the different digits. It's just an array. And then digit just basically looks up an index and copies it out. Number is what displays the minute timer.
Okay.
Talk tips down the seconds and resets it at the end, I think.
Okay.
It's been a little while. No, tots counts down the minutes, and right, yeah, tots counts down the minutes, and then tits counts down the seconds.
Cool.
I believe. Clear just clears the display. Is stop checks to see if the stop button was pressed. Sets it to a particular number of minutes. Run is the main loop that ticks it down. Cycle handles the start and reset buttons, and start is basically just an infinite loop that sees it for stopped. And I suppose if they want to go into more detail on here, they can pause the video and look at it. This is the entirety of the code, just these 2 pages.
Gotcha. So basically, you create an array of digits, and this is 0 through 1, or 0 through 9, I mean. So
Yeah,
63
0
is
to
the
9.
binary, like the code that you have to punch in for 0 to show up on the clock.
Yeah, I think I start at the top and work clockwise, and then the center, if I
Cool.
remember right, which I think is the standard layout for if you get like a commercial 7-segment cell and you want to wire it yourself, but could be
Neat.
wrong on that.
So you want to check out the wiring next? Is that pretty much most of the computer code?
Yeah, the wiring is the rest of it, and it's fairly simple too.
All right. So basically, you've got all these IOX expanders, and they go out like so to, I guess this one on the left here controls the this
Yeah, the
quarter of
two.
the clock. So the clock looks like it's set up into quarters, right? So we've got 60
Right.
seconds in a minute. So each IOX expander here handles 15-second intervals, which makes pretty good sense actually, because that's how many colors of
Yeah,
water
I
are.
do a mod 15, and then uh, the um, divisor of that sets what section I'm addressing, and the remainder sets how many lights
Cool.
are lit up.
That looks pretty neat.
So that's the four outer I/O expanders, and the two inner ones uh, control the 7-segment displays,
Awesome.
which are kind of hidden behind here, but it's pretty straightforward layout.
And then this IO expander in the bottom receives the signal from the buttons, basically.
Yeah, the one at the bottom is what handles input from all the buttons.
Cool. So when you push a button, it comes in as a specific color code, and then it's waiting for that color code. And when it sees it, it's like, oh, okay. So there you go, white, orange,
Yeah,
and purple.
we can go check that out. Yeah, the buttons are just a simple RS NOR latch.
Right.
Real easy way. Um, the computer, when it pulls the buttons, it checks for a low signal. Because the button side is set to a high signal, so the computer side is set to a low. And
Right.
then to reset the button, it just pulls it high for a moment to switch the RS latch back again.
Nice. That's pretty cool. I'm wondering what percentage of the YouTube audience is following along at this point. Because it's a very complicated device, but it works very well. So basically, you output to this I/O expander here and this I/O expander here when you want to mess with the digits in red, the big red digits, those guys, the 29 right now. And then it's the other 4 I/O expanders on the sides. So the one over here on the left handles this bottom corner, or the top corner, I guess, yeah. That handles the top left section. Or if you're looking at it from the front, the top right section. Awesome. And then this I/O expander down here handles the bottom left. And this one handles the bottom right. And this one handles the top right. Pretty nice, dude. So if I wanted to, I could punch some commands in here and see what happens. So if I do a clear, it completely clears the clock?
Yeah, I think so.
See what happens. Nope.
No, that's right. Clear doesn't clear the clock. You can set the clock if you want.
Oh, yeah.
But clear will clears the button. So any buttons that you might have had pressed, clear will reset all the RS latches on those.
On the buttons. Okay, that's cool. That makes sense. Nice.
It basically just pulls the entire cable high and then back low again to reset those.
Neat. So what do I use if I want to set the clock? Is it number?
You can use You can use set if you want to set the whole thing. Number, just put something to the digital display.
Cool. Let's see if that worked. Did that turn it to 19? Hey, yeah, it did. Awesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so 19 minutes and 0 seconds.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, you can't, you can only use set to set whole minutes.
Right. Which makes sense. It would be a little crazy if you started doing stuff, you know.
Yeah, I figure that's solid precision. I mean, the clock itself has really great precision, but, you know, for setting the starting time, you know, minutes is fine.
Cool. Well, guys, I wish I had a better understanding of the clock mechanics. It's some very complicated code. And the funny thing about Forth that I've found is if you don't write the code yourself, it's hard to read. So, but I think that, you know, covers the basics of the clock. It's, you know, pretty complicated, but, you know, Tahg made it, and it's pretty awesome. So I'm pretty pleased with it, too. And it works exactly the way I'd hoped it would, you know. I basically said, like, can we get it so I can push a button for start and stop? Yep, so that's pretty much the clock layout and the way that Tahg got it built for us. So thanks again, Tahg, for all your hard work on the clock. It was pretty complicated, but it works great. So,
Yep.
Cool. So guys, this is Direwolf20 and Tahg signing off on the demonstration of the clock in the Feed the Beast map. If you guys are interested in checking out some of the other parts of this map, you know, maybe post a comment on this video and I'll show it to you, but it's all pretty straightforward for the most part. Alright guys, take it easy.